What's up, everybody? I'm the Everyday Dad. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Today we're gonna find out what I carry around in my camera bag. And this kind of neat little homage, like fast forward to a year ago, we made an action camera video right over there. And we're back, so we're kind of gonna see like how far have we come in a year and what gear we're using. Let's hop into it. So longtime viewers will know, this is just my regular low pro, just regular backpack. Now this is gonna be kind of like a combination video where on the one part, it's gonna be the gear that I use when I go out and I do these vlogging tests that you see in the camera videos. But another part is gonna be what gear am I taking to like conventions and stuff in the future. Like I'm going to Spin Up here in a couple weeks. I'll see you there. There will be links in the description below. But if I'm gonna go to Spin Up, what gear am I gonna take to do mobile video production? And this is a big part of it, so let's get to it. Front flap, you can see, so it's mainly, the front flap is mainly the charging stuff for my mobile editing platform. So we got the cables, the charger. What else? Ooh, the Magic Mouse. The Magic Mouse that I never use because Apple mice are garbage. They're terrible, like give us at least 2 buttons. And a headlamp. Okay, that was bright. Because you never know when it's gonna get dark, I guess. So that's that flap. Let's go to the main pocket here, which this is the part that is most in flux right now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stick with this or if I'm gonna return it. This is an Apple MacBook Pro 13 from 2018. It's this bare minimum one because I don't need a lot for video production. One of the things you're gonna have to think about for yourself, and one of the things that I've come to terms with is if I'm gonna be doing mobile video production, I'm gonna stick to 1080p. I'm not gonna try to do 4K, and that'll kind of show you like what cameras we're gonna be choosing that are filming us right now. But 1080p is a lot easier to handle, so you don't need as beefy specs. But what I'm not so sold on is the iMac. There's an airplane. We'll pause for airplane. So what I'm not yet sold on the MacBook yet is I'm so used to using my iMac, and I have a workflow and going with that, and I can get most of that here, but not all of it. So if I can't get all of it, maybe I'll just go to an iPad Pro. I've seen a lot of videos, like Jonathan Morrison's been putting out a lot of videos of editing with the iPad Pro, and it's been very impressive. So I may return this and go to that. But let's get to the big compartment. I'd show more space, but you can see we've got like a limited space on this picnic table. A lot of the stuff that goes in here is currently filming me right now, but we'll go over some of the big ones. So this is my recorder / monitor. This is an Atomos Ninja V. Now this is incredibly powerful, and this is really a big part of my mobile video production platform that we'll see here. We'll set it up in just a second, but the big thing is this can be a monitor, but it can also record. Instead of like recording internal to your camera like we're doing right now, you can record straight to solid state drives, which is incredibly powerful. You just take this out, you pop it into your computer, you can edit, like, it's mind-blowingly good. And this also gives you a lot of pro features that a lot of like budget or like not pro cameras have. So you can get waveform monitors, you can get audio in. If your camera does not have an audio in jack, there's an audio in jack right there. Hint, hint for just a second. But this has so many pro features, it's really great. One of my main hesitations for going to an iPad for my mobile video editing is this records to ProRes, and iPads, oddly enough, don't work with ProRes, which is an Apple codec. So I would hope if in the future iPads can support ProRes, I'd be all over it. But okay, so that's this. Let's start moving stuff out of the way. And it's snowing right now, so if it starts snowing too bad, we'll have to bring this back inside. But here's just my little bag that carries my lavalier mic and all the cables for the microphone. Here's my pouch for my RX100 Mark V. We'll talk a little bit about in a second. Here is the HDMI cable. I use the Atomos branded HDMI cable for the connection between the camera and the recorder, because sometimes if you don't use their brand name stuff, weird things happen. Here's my favorite tripod. This is the Manfrotto Pixie. A lot of the accessories don't change over time, but a lot of them are just incredibly great. Like this is my favorite tripod like ever made. I'm using this on a Joby tripod. This is an M50 we're recording on right now, and I'm using it on a Joby tripod, and I hate Joby tripods, but I needed a little extra height, and you can get a version of this with extra height on it, and I may be upgrading to that soon. But that's my favorite tripod. Battery charger, because you always, batteries. There's 2 things that are life: batteries and memory storage. Like these are the 2 things that are life when you start making online content. So here's all my memory. Now that we're talking about it, I always run out of memory, and I'm always having issues where like I think I have plenty of card space and then I don't, so I always bring extra. These are my two hard, so this is my solid state drive. So the MacBook Pro 13 has 128 gigabyte hard drive, which most of it is taken up by the operating system. So if you want to be able to edit on the go, you're going to need like a hard drive to put all the footage on. Well, if you get a solid state drive, they're generally fast enough that you can have all of your raw files on that. You can edit straight off of it, and then you can export straight from this. And so that's what I use this. This is the G drive. This is the G Drive EV Raw. It's 1 terabyte. I bought this open boxed on Amazon for like very cheap. It's been perfectly fine. This is an Amazon Basics solid state drive enclosure. So this is just a regular computer solid state drive that I have in the Atomos Caddy, but the Atomos Caddy driver goes to USB like regular. The MacBook has USB-C, so I can't like use the two, so I have to take the solid state drive out of this, pop it into this, so I can use it with the MacBook Pro. Frustrating workflow, but you know what works, right? So what else do we got? Here's the cable for that. Cables are amazing, right? A bunch of caps, because all of your lenses and stuff have caps. What else do we got in here? Ooh, the cage for my RX100 Mark V. This, like, cages are some of the most important things you can get for a camera. So one of the weaknesses of like regular cameras, or especially the RX100 Mark V, is that it has no attachment points. And sometimes you want to attach stuff like audio recorders or monitors or any of these other things, and having a cage makes it so much easier. Like, look at all these attachment points. It's got attachment points all on the side. It's got a rosette. It's got a rosette on the side. Cages are amazing, and the company that I use, in full disclosure, from time to time they do send me things to review. This I paid for myself, and the cages I have right now I've paid for by myself. But Small Rig are my favorite cages. They're very good value for price. Here's the lens. Here's the kit lens for my M50. Pause for airplane number 2. Okay, here's the kit lens for the M50. I do carry this around even though I'm using the Sigma 18-35 right now. I carry this around because if you're doing outdoor stuff, yes, it's a very slow, 3.5 to 6.3, but for outdoor stuff, it's great because look how tiny it is, and it is stabilized. Like, this lens is one of my favorite lenses just because it's so small. It's so small when compared to the gigantic Sigma 18-35 we've got. What else do we have in here? Ooh, this is another amazing addition from Small Rig. So the way that I use this, I don't want to spoil it. We'll show it in a second. Needless to say, this is like a monitor clamp where you can screw it into a rosette, an area rosette, and then you can screw your monitor on. I use it backwards, but more on that in just a second because we're almost to the good stuff. I've got like a Small Rig clamp that you can just clamp anything and then screw either a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch adapter to it. Hopefully we don't get hit by anything falling out of that tree. An articulating arm, which is generally screwed into that, so you can basically mount anything to anywhere. And if you're going to be using Apple products anymore, you got to have your USB-C to SD card adapter dongle, because thanks, Apple, thanks. Okay, so that's really, I mean, I've got some batteries. I've got Mavic Air thumb grips. I don't even have a Mavic Air anymore, but I've got their thumb grips in case somebody has one, I guess. But next we're going to show you what the cameras I'm using actually are, because that's the exciting part. Who cares about all this crap that makes the cameras work? That blah, it's boring. Everyday dad, don't show us boring stuff, show us exciting stuff. So, man, it is cold out here. I have not been in an Ohio winter in a while, and I've not tried to make a video since that last one where we did get caught in a snowstorm and we had to go inside, but this time there's no snowstorm, it's just freezing, and we're being tough. And a happy Thanksgiving to everybody as I put this away. We're currently recording this as I'm getting ready to go for my morning run, Thanksgiving morning, because you got to be able to work off that turkey day calories. Okay, let's put this over here. Okay, so we'll start off with the small camera first. I use the RX100 Mark V as a lot of things. It's my primary B-roll camera. It's my primary thumbnail camera. How am I going to take the thumbnail for this video? We'll have to figure that out, but I do all of that stuff on the RX100 Mark V. I've got several videos about it that you can see here. Ding! It's a fantastic camera. I got mine open box for very reasonably priced. If you can get one open box, I would highly recommend it. It does 4K 30, it does 240 frames per second, 1080p, amazing slow motion. It's got the ability to focus really closely. So if you're doing like tech B-roll, if you're doing product B-roll, you can get really close, not macro, but almost macro levels of quality. It's so good. The stabilization built into it's not great. It does not have a touchscreen. It has no audio in jack, but hold on. Okay, here is how I use this. So this is the smallest like professional video platform I've ever found. So it is the Ninja V plugged into the RX100 Mark V. So it does a few things. The RX100 Mark V has a 5-minute recording limit. This doesn't. This will record 4K in Apple ProRes 422 or HQ or LT in all of the professional codecs. It will record it until this battery dies. So you get about 45 minutes of just straight 4K ProRes without having to worry about the limit on this. It also does not overheat when you do this. So this turns into a 4K 30 frames per second, built-in ND, has the audio in jack. This basically revolutionizes the RX100 Mark V. I love this setup, and you can see you get all of the pro features in this. Like I said, you get the waveform, you get focus peaking, you get everything. This is the best like mobile video platform I've ever seen. Like, it is amazing. It fixes every problem with the RX100 Mark V, and it solves some problems you didn't even know you had. Like, this together is amazing. And if you consider this like a cinema camera with the ND filters, built-in audio, professional everything, this costs a fraction of a cinema camera. This is basically like a mini cinema platform with great autofocus, great ND, great audio. This is my favorite thing I think I've ever come up with, and it's amazing. I highly, 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 highly recommend this. Okay, but that's the small camera. Well, if that's so good, everyday dad, why do you have another camera that you're currently talking on? Well, so there's a few reasons. Like I said, traveling, I want to start doing 1080p, and that, you know, that can do 1080p, but something I like is the flip out screen, which we're working on right now. And I like just having like a DSLR style camera because I don't know, I just like it. And that's I'm kind of going through a thing right now of trying to figure that out. So what we're currently filming on is one of my favorite cameras of all time, and is on a really great deal right now. Really great deal, which is why I bought it. We are currently recording on the Canon M50 with the EFM to EF adapter. We've got the Sigma 18 to 35, the Rode Wireless Lavalier System into the M50, and the Joby GorillaPod, which I do not like. So why use this? Well, it does a couple things really right. It's got amazing autofocus in 1080p. The preamps are pretty good, like the lavalier system works in it great. It's got the flip out screen. It can take bigger lenses like the EF style lenses. It can get you a shallower depth of field if that's what you're looking for. It is so small. I forgot how darn small this camera was until I started using it again here very recently. And it's like 600 bucks out the door. That is so good. This is probably gonna turn, if that price holds, the EF M50 has always been like a camera I've recommended, but I've recommended like the Lumix G7 is like the budget camera I would get. The SL2 is pretty good, but it's a pretty big, even though it's small, it's a pretty big DSLR when you consider it to mirrorless cameras. This thing is tiny, it just works great. I love this M50. So these are the cameras, and this is my camera system. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions about any of the gear, or you have some more gear that you'd like me to test out, leave a comment below. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm gonna go run so I can eat a whole bunch of turkey today. Thanks for watching. What's up, everybody? I'm the Everyday Dad. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out.